Hello, welcome to Beth Roars, where we look at your favourite singers to find out what makes them them. This one was a suggestion by one of my patrons, Marcello. Hey, Marcello! And it's someone, actually, when I was younger, well, I'll tell you the story in a bit, but a singing teacher asked me if I listened to this singer a lot, and we'll talk about why in a little while. She's really interesting. So those are programmed in strings.
You think that I shouldn't still love you, I'll tell you that. But if I didn't say it, well, I'd still have felt it. Where's the sense in that?
She has such an interesting tone that very much comes from her accent. Now, a singing teacher that I had when I was younger asked me, did I listen to Dido because I had a breathy tone? And the answer is, I sometimes listen to Dido, but the reason I had a breathy tone is that I didn't know how to get chord closure. Now, it's interesting because with her, she's really capitalized on that. It is part of her natural tone, and it's also part of her accent placement. It's really open when she speaks. You could hear at the start, she's really here. Like, it's really open. This is the worst English accent ever. Please excuse me. But that sort of shape that she was making is exactly where she's singing. I will never do that again. I'm very sorry, people. My placement is a little bit different because of my accent. It's a little bit more narrow. It's a little bit more forward placed. And actually, I just struggled to get chord closure, and it's something that I learned as I got older. And the more that I understood my voice, the more I could get away from that breathy singing, which is something that I wanted to do, but it really, really works for her. And it really, really worked for a lot of singers in the 90s. There was a lot of, and early 2000s, there was a lot of kind of breathy, beautiful singing around that time.
I promise I'm not trying to make your life harder. I'll return to where we were.
So I will not continue to stop very quickly, but everything's very, very joined on, no vibrato, and hardly any consonants. It's something that you hear from someone like Sade, but it doesn't have that sort of jazziness to it. It's very straight tone with Dido.
But I will go down with this shit.
A little yodel.
I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door.
So good.
Oh, I'm in love, and I will be.
So what is she doing with those? Love. She's going from a strong chest voice, hey, the sort of place where you speak love, and then allowing it to flip up into her head voice. Ah, ah. So that sort of placement. If you give yourself a really breathy and la, then try and flip between it quickly, la, you get this kind of break, and it's adding more distinction between the registers rather than smoothing them out like people often would.
I know I left too much mess and destruction to come back again. And I cause nothing but trouble. I understand if you can't talk to me again. And if you live by the rules of it's over, then I'm sure that that makes sense.
It's not that breathy, her voice, though.
But I will go down with this shit, and I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my
So those little yodels are very, they're in a lot of Irish music, they're in a lot of folk music, a lot of Scandinavian music, and I love how it kind of got adopted into pop. There was a lot of singers. You had your like Sinead O'Connor, you had the Cranberries using a lot of these yodels, using that sometimes breathier, lighter tone, at least a lighter tone, kind of coming in this era. It was really cool. Now, Dido's real name is really long. It's Florian Cloud de Bonneville O'Malley Armstrong. And even in her family, she was known as Dido. It's not just a stage name because she thought it was too long. She hated Florian because she felt like it was a German man's name, and she is not a man. And she was also born on Christmas Day, but she took the lead of Paddington Bear, who, if you're not British, you might not know, is a British bear, to celebrate her birthday on June the 25th instead. Interesting facts, eh?
All I possess will be there still. I'll let it pass.
Oh, and her brother is Rolo from Faithless.
And you will find that I've moved on. I will go down with this shirt.
So there, going to a really breathy head voice instead of making that a big note. Again, a really early 2000s thing to do rather than a belt. You know, you hear Adele belting, you even hear Billie Eilish. Like if she does a big note, she does actually sing a big note if you think of her James Bond song. But this is a kind of interesting way to make you feel like you're going to go to this big note, but actually instead she uses an unusual texture, a yodel and a breathy edge, and that's kind of interesting. It just shows that it doesn't always have to be massive. I feel like we often feel like as singers we have to show off and make big notes all the time, but actually switching and using a texture can be just as effective.
And I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. For I'm in love, and I will swear to be. And I will go down with this shirt.
It's interesting as well because she does adapt her vowels in a way like always will be to maintain that shape, and some of it's to do with her accent, but she's never going to say always, is she? But it is just maintaining the shape at the back of her mouth so she continues that tone. It doesn't break that tone until she wants to.
And I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. For I'm in love, and I will swear with.
Always.
And I will go down with this
So
ship.
good.
And I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love.
So cool.
Thank you, Dada.
Thank you, Dido. Oh, Brixton Academy as well. I love that place. Dido has such a beautiful voice. It has such a beautiful kind of soft edge, which is brought about by that breathiness, just a little bit extra breath. It's not overly breathy, but just that edge of leaking air gives her that unique tone. And that willingness to, instead of push, go to that fragile head voice. Instead of taking what a lot of singers would see as a limitation, a kind of light falsetto-y head voice, she uses that to make her unique tone. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.